Welcome everyone to today's video. So today we're actually going to be breaking down a very popular strategy that has been taking the YouTube world by storm with pocket option, and it was pretty much introduced by a guy called Mark Trades. He has around 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, and he pretty much broke down the strategy using the CCI indicator, which bases its trades off of reversals. So I'm going to show you here how it works. Is as soon as you see the CCI move upwards to the 100 mark, you actually take sells, and whenever it moves downwards towards the 100 mark, you actually take buys. And how it works is you almost need to imagine it as like standard deviation back towards the mean. So think of it as like a seesaw. Whenever a seesaw moves downwards to the right, it has to move back upwards so that it is completely horizontal. So let's look at a seesaw, right? So a seesaw will obviously move downwards to the one side, but then it will come back flat. So essentially how it always has to work is whenever the price moves up and hits this point, it always has to move down. Whenever the price comes down and hit this point, it always has to move up. That's how standard deviation works. The standard deviation is the minus 100 or the plus 100, and the mean is pretty much 0, and it always has to push back upwards or downwards towards the 0 point. And that's how we can take these reversal trades, almost like a seesaw when it moves up and down for either side. So how is it going to work, and how can you optimize your platform to look exactly like mine? So I already took a trade here. You need to have a real account or a demo account, and you need to set your trades at 1% of your account. So what we're going to do is actually make our trade time 3 seconds, because I accidentally thought it was going to be a 30-second trade, but that wasn't the case. But we still would have won, as we would have predicted. As soon as it touched this point, we had a massive push downwards. Here we're probably going to expect a move upwards. What you want to do though is set your pocket option platform to have a 30-second timer per normal candlestick. Your trade time needs to be 30 seconds, and we are going to go into here by the indicators and select the CCI indicator. What we want to do then is click this arrow here, which is going to expand our indicator to look like this. Then we are going to literally just change the period to 2. Now, this gives us the opportunity to trade, and we're going to take trades which are based off 1% of our account balance. Here we can take a sell, because whenever this line hits the top point here, which is 100, we take sells. Whenever it hits the bottom point here, we take buys. I also have the trading calculator over here. So remember, we did win on that first trade. How this works is it takes your initial capital, converts it into 1%, and then you can start taking trades. And we're going to aim for 12 units this session, 12 units of profit this session. And we're going to stop if we obviously lose 5 units. Currently, we're 7% of the way there. As we saw here, we obviously won this trade. We tried to take a sell here, and we had this massive push downwards. So this is once again going to be another win. Let's see if we can look for more trades. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add all these favorites of all the OTC pairs. You don't want to be trading the non-OTC pairs, because it's going to change the time of the trades to 1 minute. I'm just going to favorite all of the OTC pairs that are giving a high percent payout, which are these guys here. Now what we're going to do is just maybe zoom in to or zoom out of this a little bit, just so that we can see everything a lot better. Let's do it one more time. Okay, there. Now we can see everything a lot better. And essentially all we're going to be doing is just scanning between these. Here we go. Here's a selling opportunity here. As we see, it hits the top line there. And we're just going to scan between all of these and look for trades. So let's wait for this one to hit our bottom point here. As soon as that happens, we'll take a buy. And we'll just let the other trade play out, right? Let's see, that's not going to happen. We can go back to this trade and see what's happening. If we do end up winning this, it looks like we have a strong reversal on these 2 wicks over here, which is a strong resistance area. And we in fact won this trade. So let's add that there. And we are now 23% of the way there to our target. Let's look for more trades as we hop between these. Here's a good buying opportunity. We see that this line hit our bottom point here, and immediately we have a strong reversal to the upside. right? So this is a very good trade that we took over here, and this will definitely move to the upside, although it looks like this is only going to give us a 58% payout, which is definitely not what we were looking for. So this is obviously not going to reflect accurately on our trading calculator, although it's going to give us somewhat of a profit. Right, it's not going to calculate it effectively on our calculator. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm still going to um, account for that win, but now of course our profit isn't going to be fully accurate to what it is over here, but that's okay because we're just going to imagine that we did win 92 on that. But I'm going to decide to close this one because it only gives us a 58% payout, which is not what we want to be trading. But I'm just going to account for the fact that as if we did win it on 92. So now we're 30% of the way there to our targets. We're actually sitting with 100% win rates at the moment, and it's looking like a very good strategy. Let's see if we can continue this on this trading session. Here we go. Here's a good buying opportunity that we're going to take here. We see that it's hit our minus 100, which means that we can immediately start to take a buy. Once it happens, we're going to look for more trades to take. Let's see if it hits our top point here. It looks like it's not going to happen. Not the case, which is perfectly fine. We will just keep looking for trades as they come, right? Looks like this is going to hit our bottom points here on this candle. We just need to wait. But it looks like, right, it looks like we did win that trade over there on this one for the buy. So, once again, we can add for a win. And right now, we would have been sitting on $460 of profit, but because we took that 58% return trade, we're only sitting at 426, which is okay. We're going to act as if we did win 92% of that. 92% win on that. So now we're at 38% of the way there. Let's keep using the strategy and see how we do. Here's another point. So it looks like it's hitting our top here, right? So we're going to take a sell there. It looks like it hit our bottom here. So we can take a buy here. See if we can get some more trades on these. It looks like it hit our bottom points here as well. So we can start to take a buy on this trade as well. And yeah, let's see how these trades do. So this looks like this is not going to be a win on this trade. So that's going to be a loss. We'll add that loss there. Looks like this might also not be a win on this trade. So we'll account for that loss there. And let's see how this trade does. Looks like this is also going to be a loss. Right. So we pretty much have 5 wins and 3 losses. Currently sitting at $126 in profit, which is fine. Let's look for more trades. Here, hit our zone there. We can take a buy on that. See, hopefully this can push up and hit our top line there before this candle closes. Looks like it won't though. And let's watch this trade, see how it plays out in the end. Looks like this is also going to be a loss. So now we only would have been sitting in $60 of profits, but here we're only at 26, which is fine. Looks like this would have been a better time to take a trade, but that's just the luck of the draw, right? And also these strategies aren't a guarantee to make money. And if you're wondering why my balance is at 10,000, it's because I'm actually starting a challenge where I'm going to be testing a whole bunch of strategies and trying to grow my $10,000 accounts. And we're pretty much going to be analyzing these strategies and seeing which ones are the best so that we could possibly implement them more in the future on this channel. And the goal out of this is probably going to be to grow this account to like $50,000 would be really cool. Possibly by the end of the year using these strategies, but who knows, we might be surprised more. And obviously, like I said, these strategies aren't like the ones that I teach inside of my program, which pretty much will bring you a lot of money. Looks like this was a really good trade, so we can obviously add that as a win. Perfect. Now we are going to look for another trade, and it looks like we can take a sell on this. So there we go. You can take a sell there. Looks like there's no more trades here. Here we go. This is a good selling opportunity. So yeah, as I said, these aren't guaranteed strategies, and that's why I wanted to create this challenge to see if these YouTube strategies do work, because these are they're completely different to what I normally teach inside of my program and my community. It looks like this was a terrible sell to take, so we're obviously going to add that loss there. Let's see how this one plays out. And if you do want to access this trading indicator, it is inside of my private community and program. Another loss, guys. So not really good so far. I'd say if we hit our losing target here, we're going to end the session. Pretty much going to trade until we hit either, right? The trade there. Looks like this is a selling opportunity here. And a buying opportunity here. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this whole journey with this $10,000 account on this YouTube channel, so that we can see whether these strategies do work, right? We want to see if they do work. It looks like we're going to get 3 wins here, so there was a win there. This looks like it's going to be a win here as well, I believe. Let's see. Okay, that's a third win. And then, sorry, a second win, and this will definitely be a third win. So we're going to add all 3 of these. There we go, 3 wins. 1, 2, and 3. It'll be very interesting to see how these strategies do in the future as we try to grow this account, right? Who knows what we could grow this account to? But so far, I just have the impression that YouTube strategies aren't that good, but hopefully it can prove me wrong, because it's nothing like what I teach in the program, which will obviously be linked below. Here we go. Here's another selling opportunity. See if we could get a buy here. There's none there. Possibly here. No, not the case. Let's see here, nothing. No trades to be taken. So, from what I'm seeing here, is this is a very slow strategy. So there, we lost. Once again, this seems like a very slow strategy. So what I'm going to do is I'm either going to cut this when we go down to around minus 100, right? I'm going to cut it if we go down to minus 100, and I'm going to take profits if we hit around plus 400. I think that's going to be the goal for this session, just because of how slowly it's performing. Here's a sell, and here's a buy. Here's a sell. Okay, let's see how these 3 play out. If all 3 of these win, we will end the session. If it pretty much loses on all of these, we will end the session as a loss. But it looks like these are obviously just bouncing in between. Looks like that's going to be a losing trade. This is going to be a losing trade. And this is going to be a losing trade. So 3 losses in a row. 1, 2, and 3. And that's a bit unfortunate, guys. Not the best of strategies so far. So we're going to log this session as a loss, unfortunately. So $172 loss. That's okay. It's completely fine. 14% drawdown on the day, 47% win rate with the strategy, and probably not something that I would suggest, purely because sure, it could tell us there's going to be a reversal here, but it could just be the start of a trend like you see here. So not the best of strategies. Wouldn't recommend this one, but that's how this is going to work. We're only breaking down how quick trading works on pocket option, and we're doing it and keeping it as real as possible so that you can see the authenticity behind all this content and pretty much documenting this whole process to see if these YouTube strategies are actually worth it or not. So we're just going to be testing out literally a strategy per day, documenting these strategies, and then by the end of it, seeing which strategies are the best, like pretty much after a month. And then we can essentially lock into those, or like focus and tunnel vision into those strategies itself, and see if we can continue to grow this account. Of course, this is not with my main strategy. This is just for testing purposes only, and is not a guarantee that you can make money. But it is just a series that I'm documenting to see whether these YouTube strategies can make me money or not. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Not the best of days and not the best of strategies. It is not a true reflection of the strategy either, because I was testing it earlier on demo and it was doing really well. I think we just hit a bit of drawdown here, which is okay. And we're just going to accept this minus $172 loss. It's actually more. It was more on here. It was around $200 of loss. It's just because we didn't document that trade properly, which is completely fine. I'm actually gonna edit this loss here real quick to 206. 206. There we go. So now we were at $206 loss. We can just go with a new session here, and then we will be ready to document our next trading session. So thanks for tuning in, and yeah, let's see how this whole process goes with uncovering all these YouTube strategies. And thank you for watching.